Hey family, and in typical format, no sooner does one box arrive, another arrives. This, waited for quite a while now, a number of months. There's been another released by CMON in the meantime, which I'm ridiculously excited about. But I am excited about this. This is Zombicide set in the Wild West. And this, folks, is all the goodies, the insane amount of content that has come in this box, as you can see. So we've got the core box, the Gear and Guns Steampunk expansion, including the campaign game, the Running Wilds. You can have heroes riding into town on horses, coming to save the day. We've got exclusive content in here, some dice, lots of goodies. Let's get into it. Okay, folks, so this is the core box. This is, as far as I understand, exactly what will be coming to retail when this hits the stores at some point, if it's not already available. As you see, wonderful artwork, as always, from CMON. Just fantastic graphic style in their kind of cartoony, animated nature there. So 1 to 6 players, ages 14 plus, generally because of the content. I have seen it observed from other people online, just regards to this probably being their most gruesome in terms of the level of blood version of Zombicide that there is. Now, whether that's just feeding into the theme, the content, obviously Wild West can be particularly gory, an hour's gameplay, and again, it's pretty much the same artwork all the way around there. It's a nice wrap. And then looking at the back, what have we got in terms of the content? So, the zombies came from nowhere and they destroyed the world we used to know. A few brave people united and took up arms against the infected horde. These survivors roam the country, looking for supplies, payback, and fun at the zombies' expense. You are survivors, the past is gone. You choose your fate. Now is the time for challenge, danger, freedom, and friendship. Now is the time for Zombicide, undead or alive. So the key changes here in this particular version of Zombicide is, so you've got 1 to 6 players, you've got wooden dice, so I'll be interested to see what the weight of those feels like. There were a lot of concerns about them being potentially like popcorn, so the idea of very, very light. Not sure how that's worked out, we'll see. They've got these custom dashboards, they've got like a wooden effect on, so really looking forward to seeing those in action. Little sticks of dynamite as your pegs for keeping track of everything for your character boards. They've got 4 factions of the different characters, as well as your normal slew of zombies and plastic, a single abomination, I believe, in the core box. And one of the other key things that they changed here is this train, the ocean, that there will be certain missions and scenarios where you will have a steam train rolling into town and you can line zombies up on the tracks to get mowed down by the train, etc, etc. So, without further ado, let's dig into this Undead or Alive cooperative game for 1 to 6 players. Let's dig in. So I noticed on one of the other boxes, and I confess apologies because I did open one of the other boxes, but I noticed the same here. This is there's actually a sleeve here that they've inserted. So I think the original design print, I think they've changed. What I found on one of the other ones, they changed the number of cards. It's just making it a little bit more difficult to cut into, just because they're seeing on the wrap there, but that's fine. So let's go ahead and move that out of the way. Yeah, what I noticed was they changed, or updated rather, the number of cards included. So I'm not quite sure what happened there, whether it was just a mistake from one box to the other, maybe got the numbers of cards mixed up perhaps. So let's look, 120 mini cards. See if that was what they changed here. One abomination. Rulebook. Nope. No, that's all fine. 88 minis. So something else on here was changed. I'll go through and have a look at that later. But yeah, so they've included this in here. Obviously, it was some kind of a typo, misprint, something. Who knows? I'll have a look at that. But that's not what you're here to see. You are here to see what's inside the box. So, free gift. So this will be, they've already published an additional mission for Zombicide Undead or Alive, the bank heist, using the different tiles that already come in the box, the different components. So yeah, looking forward to downloading and having a bash of that. So here is the rulebook itself. As you can see, a nice summary on the back, which is very typical for the Zombicide CMON games. You get a nice little summary as well in regards to targeting priority. So when you're firing into an area or in a zone with other enemies and you're attacking them, there are priority orders in which you can actually target the enemies that are there. So brutes are always, because they're faster, they're always the hardest to hit. So you'll be going brute or abomination first, then walker, then runners. Runners, of course, have two actions as opposed to the walkers and abominations, so they are moving and attacking there that bit faster, as I already mentioned. Minimum damage to eliminate, so 2 to 3 for brutes and abominations, 1 hit point of damage available on the walkers and the runners. And adrenaline earned, so this is the effectively the XP, the adrenaline that you're going to be gaining when you take down these enemies. And as you gain your adrenaline, you will then increase in power, which also ramps up the game as you go. That's how this works. So very, very simple. So nice chapters broken down as you'll go through the book, and some summaries of the different skills that you're going to come across. You can see lots and lots of different skills for different characters, various missions throughout the back of the rulebook. So usually 10 missions. You usually get a bit of a starter sort of tutorial as you go through the very first one. Very, very simple, just getting used to the ways to play, and then you really get into the nitty gritty, as it were. There's a Gatling gun. You can move around and mow down the zombies. As I mentioned, this is the train, so you actually get tiles that you can flip, and how all of that operates. And it goes through your sort of your line of sight, how to work out your combat, how to read your different runners and the different zones. And yeah, I mean, it's very, very usual stuff. Lovely graphics and illustrations throughout, lots and lots of pictures throughout. As you can see, text is really nice size, really good, really well laid out. And of course starts off with your components of 73 zombie miniatures, including then your abominations, 40 walkers, 40 walkers, 16 runners, 16 brutes, and a bowler hat abomination. Okay, lots of survivors and their appropriate cards, 14 survivors and their ID cards, 9 tiles that are double-sided, and a Gatling gun miniature. Okay, so let's dig in. So we've got the very typical box that comes with the plastics set aside from the card stock. So let's dig in. In fact, here we go. Let's do the boring stuff first. Let's do the card stock. That is a hefty whack of cards. So here we got the tiles, and these are all labelled, as you can see here in this corner. So 9R. So as you go through the missions, it will say, right, get tile 9R. So you'll flick through, find number 9, and then you whack that out, and then commence. So let's have a look and dig into what we've got here. And apologies for my voice, I'm still suffering this darn flipping cold. It's been 2 weeks with me now. I'll be glad when I see the back of this darn thing. Okay, so what have we got? So let's pop that aside for now. Aha, they're the train tiles. Pop those aside. So here we go. So right, okay, so as I mentioned there, so you've got tiles 1 through to 9, and then they're V 1 through to 9, and then R 1 through to 9 there. So it's maybe reverse, perhaps. Don't know. Anyway, don't know why the V and the R. Anyway, so version 1. So we've got various buildings that you'll be exploring throughout the land. Loving the attention to all the different detail, the terrain. I've seen lots of this one, and you've probably seen them. You've seen other videos on my channel. They publish this one on their Kickstarter, and I've printed that out on a number of occasions to do various works and manipulations on there. And yeah, just really like. And then the idea of these boxes here is this is where you would potentially be placing your missions, your mission tokens. That's where you'd be going to ascertain your achievements in order to move on the storyline, as it were. And I think these are the sides that we got, and they included balconies as well in this version of the game, so you can jump up, or I can't jump up, sorry, I'll go up the stairs to this balcony area, and that increases your range. You see a number of these buildings have included balconies here, so you would then be firing down into the streets, destroying those slews of zombies. Love this tavern bar, beautiful, beautiful, loving that. So we've got like a bit of a stained glass window effect here, the fountain outside. I think we've seen that one before. Very good. And you see, yes, all this gore, this blood, this extra detail. Like I say, had seen it mentioned a number of times online, just in terms of the upping the level of gore on these particular tile sets. So that will go back in to there. And then these are the train tracks. So you would have the train tracks laid out as per normal, and then as the steam train rolls into town, there we go, you would then flip these over. So the idea is you would literally lay these out in this form, 1, 2, 3, and then as the steam train moves into town, it would appear here first, and then as it moves along, you would move that one with the cart, and then as it moves along, you'd move that one with the cart. So you kind of get that notion turn by turn of this steam train arriving into town. So great, very, very novel. They've not done anything like that before, so that's really great. We've got a cardboard token for the wagon, and on this wagon is where you would place your Gatling gun, and you would spend actions to move that around, and then you could position it to fire against the zombies. As I mentioned, throughout the town, you've got these mission tokens. You'd shuffle these up, and then it would say, right, you've got to find the green one or the blue one, what have you, and you'd have to then search for different locations, try and find those. You've got these different spawn sites. You've got abomination spawn sites, as well as other tokens here. Obviously, you've got exit to get out of town, and a sheriff badge. Okay, so the plastics. Here we go. What have we got? Oh, I love the detail. The detail of these is just, as always, from CMON, is incredible. Cool Mini. There is a reason this company is called Cool Mini or not. CMON, you always deliver the goods. What can I say? So here we've got the character cards. So each character has their own class ability. So these are a gunman particular class, as where this is a brawler class. So they, again, so you've got that sort of the melee versus the range. So they've each got their own unique abilities, and as they, as I mentioned, they gain their adrenaline, they become more and more ferocious and more focused on taking out these zombies. So you gradually move up from the blue zone to the yellow zone to the orange zone to the red zone. And as you move into orange, you get to choose which of those two. So again, great variance from game to game. Depending on what your mission is, you may want to choose different abilities to suit being able to overcome that campaign, which is great. And yeah, so lots. So these got the I think it was 14 survivors in the core box. So let's go ahead and get these open. There we go. Okay, so we've got Carl in there. I'm just trying to see, I'm just having a look down, see if I can find an equivalent miniature for Carl. So he's got to be one of these dudes here. But I'm struggling to see him, to be completely honest with you. Is he this guy here? Oh yes, machete, here we go. So here's Carl. There we go, so he's got a gun in one hand and his machete in the other hand. There we go. He's a brawler, so his ability is he can charge in, so once per turn you may spend one action to move up to 2 zones, to a zone containing zombies, then perform 1 free melee attack and starts with 3 health. So you would track all of that information on here. So these are the player boards. Pop him back for a moment. Okay, so this is again, so this is where you would then, I love that little explosion, little fire tether, boom. So these are nice, these just click along quite nicely, so there's no risk of just accidentally sliding it across. So you would click up 1, 2, as you're taking out the zombies, 3, 4, and when you get to 6, you trigger onto 7. Now you're into the next zone, and you'd get to choose your extra skill. Yellow zone is always +1 action. So that's what it'll be for all the characters throughout. But yeah, just loving the detail on here, just really nice depth on this wood effect. And again, yeah, just little things. It's little things for me, certainly, in terms of the attention to detail, that make the difference. Just being able to pop your finger under there, got like a little indent just here to be able to ease those out, which is beautiful. Just the right amount of space here to put cards in. Another card on here. This slot may hold a melee weapon, and then you've got additional slots here for holding additional cards. You've got left hand and right hand, and they've got again just those details. They've flipped that graphic around. Just little things, just for me, make that difference. Just beautiful attention to detail. Great job as always. Okay, so we also then have a humongous stack of cards, little mini. These are the mini American standard size, I believe. So I've just been looking at getting some sleeves for these, just to give them that extra little bit of protection, aid the shuffling up, etc. So yeah, so we can see. So this would be our zombie stack. So as I mentioned, as you're gaining the adrenaline, the way Zombicide works, as you gain adrenaline, you'd move up from blue to yellow, amber, orange and red. And as you're pulling these, it would determine how many zombies are pouring onto the map. So at the same time as your characters are leveling up, likewise the zombie hordes are also leveling up. And then you get various different baddies. So obviously you get your walkers, your brutes, your runners. You get a whole series of different abomination cards, and I believe that they have different abilities on there as well. Yeah, different graphics, and some of these will be sort of all walkers activate. There's no effect in blue, so you get a bit of a breathing space, or you get an extra activation. So yeah, that's how those cards work. Get the bowler hat abomination. That's why the card with no special rule. So you could shuffle up. Each abomination will have its own card for you to be able to shuffle up and use to randomly determine which abomination you want to feature per game. So obviously, as I mentioned, this core box comes with the one abomination, and then you'll see the other abominations that have come with the other boxes that I've also purchased as part of here, and various thematic wonders. The US water canteen, the old timer gun, the classic Zombicide pan, because of course what else would you want to go against zombies with than an old frying pan. Of course the Gatling gun, as mentioned, does make noise, which is featured in this game. A machine, the wagon, the way noise works has been massively simplified from their historical games. If you make noise where the last noise was made, you put a noise token down to indicate that's where the noise was made, and then that will be an attraction point for the zombies. They'll obviously try and go towards the noise if they can't see any people to directly attack. So here's the Gatling gun miniature here. Very nice. And these will just come up a treat when they're painted. As always, the level of detail on these absolutely superb. Yeah, and you see how you can already start to see how the paint will take to those miniatures really nicely. So just lift those up, give you a bit of a zoomed in look. So there's the 14 survivors, and then you start to get into the hordes of plastic with the walkers, the runners at the bottom there. You get the bowler hat abomination. So he's the big dude when he comes on. It takes a lot more damage to get him off the board, and obviously that then requires more specialist equipment. And then we get into our plastics as well. So these are a hard plastic, which I'm not a massive fan of. The issue being they can tend to chip the paintwork once miniatures are painted, but it is what it is. I think there are companies out there that will do more generic ones that are more rubbery, so they're just a bit softer, a bit more give on them, and these are the dice. So yeah, they're quite light. I mean, I love the look of them. Definitely, the look absolutely is befitting with the game. We've also got the playing cards on here, the clubs, the hearts, the diamonds, and the different graphics. You've got a zombie cowboy head, and an explosion dynamite. So I'm guessing the explosion dynamite is a 1 and the head is a 6. Maybe. I guess you would just, whatever you want, that's what you would do. I mean, they're not too bad. You know, they'll roll well enough for certain. A little bit light for my personal liking. I would have liked to have had a little bit more heft to them, perhaps. But I mean, they've come out beautifully, though. They absolutely have come out beautifully. Just that wooden effect. How long they'll last, in terms of, I mean, these are slightly indented. I don't know if you can see. There is a slight indentation on there, but it is very shallow. So yeah, I mean, with lots of usage, I don't know how long they would genuinely last. Again, you could always obviously slightly paint back onto there, but yeah. But these I love. These obviously, as you choose your character, it doesn't matter what character you choose whatever colour you want, and you have your matching pegs to go with your character colour. And then you would use these pegs, lovely little sticks of dynamite, which again, just a fantastic idea on those, and they would then feature on here beautifully. They work so well. So you'd keep a track of where you're currently at on your progression, which skill you've chosen. So you would add additional pegs in here to indicate, yep, I'm now onto orange and I've got an extra 3 melee attack each turn. Beautifully done. Great job. And then under here, I have to take everything out. Bloop. There we go. Very well packaged. No issues at all that I'm seeing with any of this content. Very good. You know, there's no issues with anything sort of, you know, flying around the place or anything like that. So we've got some brutes. I think they've renamed them here. I think the original was fatties. Old ball and chain at the bottom, so escaped prisoners perhaps, these particular brutes. Some more brutes here. What the heck is that? What is that? Okay. That's crazy. That is crazy. Love it. So again, yeah, just a level of variation in the miniatures there, females as well as males, which is beautiful. Just great job on all those sculpts. Going to be a delight to paint. And then, as you can see here on the side of the box, is details on how to pack everything back away once you're done. Which again, it's just a really simple but nice and effective touch. Just helps you, you know, when it's time to pack everything away. Yeah, how do I get it done? Okay, so this is the Gears and Guns expansion. This will also be coming to retail, and I apologise in advance because this is the one I am absolutely most excited about, and was the one that I confess I dug straight into. It was the first box I unboxed. So what have we got here? So we live in the world of tomorrow, and this is the age of steam. Steam carries us to these promising lands, protects us against all perils, and heralds a new dawn of civilization. And yet, rumours talk about frontier towns being erased from the map, of people going mad and hurling themselves into murderous rages. It is some kind of exotic illness? Who knows? And honestly, who cares? You cannot stop progress. Full steam ahead in the name of science. So this is the expansion set. And again, yeah, they had made a mistake on the number of cards in this particular one. So I did pick up on that. But whatever, I'm really excited about this. So digging in. We have additional rules and missions, so there will be variations to the rules on the basis that we're now including Steam. We've got 10 new survivors with Steam functionality and their new survivor ID cards. It does include a campaign sheet notebook, so there is a way to play the original Zombicide with this expansion in a campaign story as it goes through the various stages of the story. You get 6 additional game tiles, adding in specific map areas to the town. You get tokens for Steam and some kind of a Steam explosion or something going on there. Additional weapons, including Steam capabilities, and a new abomination, as well as the new characters. So let's dig in. So this is the campaign book that comes with this. So obviously you keep a name of the survivor, the players, and as you gain through all your adrenaline, your XP, you'd keep a record of those. Got various skills, bonus actions, and your posse and equipment that's being kept from one scenario to next, and you get a good amount of those, so that's good. And I'm fairly sure they'll be available on the site to download more to print out at home if and when you do find that you've run out and need more content. So these are the additional tiles that come. So the numbering, as you see, will continue. So 13R, and then 15, is that possibly? 18V. So 13, so there are 9 in the original box, and these go from 13. So that tells me there are additional tiles somewhere else, perhaps. Interested to see. So we can dig in here. There we go. Okay. Of course, what town would be any good without a laundrette? There we go. So a place to do your laundry. I don't think much cleaning, much of that cleaning. Look. Okay. So again, we've got the continued theme of the gruesomeness, the bloody areas. We've got these steam mechanisms, I guess, features on each of these tiles, included the balconies on here, and again you've got these mission areas that you'll go through from game to game, as you can see. Additional buildings and features. And of course all of these are again double-sided, and again you've got that macabre of the horse being Left 4 Dead. So this is quite similar to some of the other tiles that we saw in terms of the divide in the city. The balconies featured again there. The bear skin rug, love it. Yeah. And again, with all the Zombicide stuff and the CMON stuff in general, yeah, level of detail is just superb throughout. Excellent. So we've got the additional tiles, and then, of course, we have. Is this taped? It is taped. Okay. Apologies whilst I remove the tape. It says, hoping. There we go. There's one. I'm guessing there'll be one on that side as well. Oh gosh. Oh Lord. There we go. That's two. Okay. So let's dig into the underside of this. Okay, so this is the abomination. A dude wearing a top hat, great big wrench in his hands there, chains flailing. Very good. Love the attention to detail on that. And of course we've got our new steampunk survivors. Again, just absolutely loving the detail. This waistcoat, the chainsaw, just beautiful stuff. Absolutely beautiful stuff. The ruffles on that dress, just absolutely beautiful. Fantastic. And these come with some steam dice. So these are plastic and have like a cog design, and then you also have the steam icon as well. Yeah, nice feel to them. But I have a Kickstarter exclusive version of these, which are gorgeous, which I can't wait to show you because they really are something else and they are stunning. Okay, so let's pop that back in there. Okay, so in addition to those, obviously we have the cards for the IDs. So again, these fit back into those same trays that we saw in the core box. So this is an expansion, as I say, it's not standalone. You have to have the core box to use these. We have a steam meter, so we can keep a track of the steam as it gradually rises throughout the game. We have a number of additional, and again, I've not dug into these. So I've got no idea what these are. So these are maybe the campaign aspect, perhaps. Certainly numbered. I know we've got two lots of number 7, G and GM1. So maybe mission 1. Guns and gears. Mission 6-7. Mission 8. Mission 9. Maps to use, don't know. We'll dig into those and find out what those are in due course. But like I say, I have not read into the book or anything like that yet. So we've got a bunch of those. We've got obviously the another abomination, the various equipment cards you can uncover as you go around, so you can investigate and explore as you go around the maps. Again, so you've got full steam +1 reload. You can reload these items. The bounty weapon. Excellent. Very good. Okay, so campaign book. So that is the Gears and Guns expansion. And of course, no CMON campaign on Kickstarter would be a campaign on Kickstarter without a box of Kickstarter exclusive content. Now what they did with Zombicide was they had daily unlocks, so for the length of the campaign, as that continued to run from day one, you were getting freebies included and thrown in, and then they also included a whole bunch of stretch goals at certain key points as the money was coming in and they hit certain targets, and they would then include additional content. So on the back of here, so this is all exclusive stuff, so these will not be available in general retail. So we have a box of plastic 79 miniatures, including 51 survivors, 13 unique walkers with specific abilities that they bring to the game that are different to the normal walkers, and 13 abominations. So there are 51 survivor cards, and there's one item card that's unique. There are 13 abomination cards to go with the 13 abominations, and of course a rulebook. So this exclusive box contents contains all the goodies you'll need to take Zombicide Undead or Alive game to a whole new level. Larger than life characters, colourful walkers, and new deadly abominations. Life in the West has never been so dangerous. Buckle up, because you're in for a wild time. So let's have a look and see what we've got in this box of goodies. So digging in, we have, so this is the rulebook. You see, very, very thin, so not a lot of rules, which is great. So you've got the unique rules for the specific abominations that we'll see the miniatures for in just a moment. The melting pot, the gore geyser, the cactus queen. This one was absolutely unique and was very, very well received by the community. So this is the Great Trickster, and it actually changes its heads as it goes. The Wendigo as well, likewise, very, very well received. And then you've got the Daily Dual House rules, where you'll be facing off these specific, unique walkers that are featured. So like the mariachi, the soldier, the horse head walker. I didn't understand in the campaign. I don't understand it now. Let's have a look. Okay. Okay, so these have mostly held well in place. So there's a little bit of rummaging over here. Again, lots of these characters, I think, based very much on various films, very much the pulp culture of the Wild West. But yeah, beautiful artwork throughout, as always, as well as beautiful sculpts, of course. And of course, you get the abomination cards for each of the abominations, and that'll be the one equipment item card at the back. All of these, you can see, are uniquely numbered. And am I going to get some sellotape again? I am. Let's just go ahead and cut that. And cut that. There we go. Right, so come on, more tape. I did 4 sides on this one. Great, thanks for that. And yet still had some movement on the contents despite the sellotape. Anyway, oops. There we go. There we go. So what have we got? Let's have a look, shall we? So it says Grayson, the first one there, as we just saw the card to. And I really appreciated, actually, they've included some ethnical variation in there as well. They're not all just your typical cowboy Wild West characters. What's this? But yeah, really loving the theme. Like I say, can't wait to dig in, get these to the table with the bottle. Yeah, just great action poses, beautiful attention to detail as always. This, I've got to show you this one. This was just fantastic. At the time, Sheriff Mittens. If you remember this in the media at the time, just superb. Little banjo on the back of his chair. Fantastic. Absolutely love it. Brilliant. So they are the survivors again, each with abilities, unique abilities, just fantastic. And again, let's dig into the sellotape. Wow, these are so big. These are so big. This is insane. You could just imagine being some lowly cowboy wandering the streets, and one of these monstrosities, I mean proper monstrosities, comes up to you. Wow. I mean, check that. I mean, that is just stunning. Absolutely stunning. Just love that. Just beautiful. Wow. Just fantastic work on that sculpt. Brilliant. That's proper fearsome. I don't even know how we're in. There we go. Okay. We got, wow, they're spiky. Again, these will just paint up an absolute treat. The attention to detail throughout all of these, as always, superb. And I know I said that before, but it's just great, just beautiful. Look at that. It's just, oh, it's just, yeah. Oh, you know you're having a bad day, you know. Fantastic. Loving that. Just great. And this was, like I say, a bit of a piece de resistance for this particular campaign. So you have these multiple heads as the trickster appears, and each head has its own unique abilities. So even though this thing appears, its impact on the game is determined by the head, and it will then change the head throughout the process of the game as well. And I believe you do have to defeat effectively all three heads. So yeah, very, very interesting, very, very different. And then these are the unique walkers. There's the horse hat guy, as I mentioned, didn't what? And they increased as well. They did have a survey at the end and asked, because they so smashed the goal that they thought they were going to achieve, they said, which ones do you want to replicate on? So we did get additional on some of these, which was a nice little addition to the Kickstarter. And then finally we've got some more these abominations just reaching out to grab you. just great fun. These things, just great fun. Beautiful work. The slime. The melting pot. People just being absorbed. Just brilliant. Absolutely. And this one was another bit of a bizarre one in my mind. The queen cactus. Allegedly there was a lot of requests for a cactus abomination. I didn't see it myself, but hey, do you know what? It's something else to throw into the mix and be fighting against. So yeah, I'm all for that. All for that. Bit more variety. So this was the other mini expansion box that was available. I believe this will be coming to retail, and there is a Kickstarter exclusive element to this as well, which is then a separate mini box of its own. So this is the Running Wild. So this gives you the ability for the cowboys, the survivors, to come riding into town on horseback. So for each character that you get a horse. A mounted version of the character, as well as a dismounted version. So obviously you can't just go riding horses into buildings in town. You need to dismount. You would leave your horse outside, and you would then venture into the building in question. So we've got 13 miniatures, 6 survivors, and their rider equivalent. It does come with another abomination to feature in the game as well. Obviously relevant ID cards. So we'll dig in. So we were travelling far away from civilization, running after fame and glory, when the zombies attacked. Upon return, we discovered our world had changed in the worst way, and the horses had been among the first victims. We chose to stand and fight beside the other survivors. Now we have a sacred duty, protecting the last trained horses. As long as horses are alive, the Western spirit will live on. So this is the Running Wild expansion. Oops, looks like we've got another alternate back to this box. It just seems bizarre. Not quite sure. Obviously something went off somewhere. So there we go. Excellent. Contents the same. Pop that aside. Let's dig in. So again, we've got the additional rules how to use these horses in the game. Different rider mode versus standard mode. And obviously for setup you would have both your characters, so you get additional large rings in here. So each character Roberto, the brawler with a knife. Beautiful artwork. And then of course when you venture into the building, you would have to secure your horse outside of the premises. So that's what these are representative of. And we have here the Nightmare Horse Abomination as an additional feature for this expansion. And we've got a bit more tape to cut away. So just the 2 pieces of tape in this instance. There we go. Okay, so there's the extra base again, all hard plastic. Pop those aside. This is what, of course, you are interested in. So we've got the various survivors, and then of course their mounted versions of each of the survivors. Again, just great attention to detail. Just the cape flying, and yeah, just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And of course the Nightmare Horse Abomination. Fantastic stuff. There we go. I mean, that's the one that immediately catches my eye, of course, because that cape just flying in the wind, just superb. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So these were available as additional purchases. So this is the in replacement for those 6 cardboard horses. This was the lone horse pack, so it's representative of the horses that then get left abandoned outside of the buildings whilst your riders venture into the building to go and obviously claim missions, etc. So let's see what came in here. So there were 2 variations of horses, as you can see. So you got 3 drinking, as it were, dipping down there, and then 3 not standing attention. Again, we've got the tape on the edges there. And there was, I don't know, there was a bit of a controversy on here, and in terms of, I think there was a feeling maybe there was a bit of a lack of variation. I think there was a feeling that maybe these weren't quite priced as they should have been, but you know what, they are what they are. And obviously, as a completionist, absolutely going to get them and add them to the set, and they are nice sculpts. Do you know what I mean? Without a doubt. They are nice sculpts, good attention to detail, same as everything else that is included throughout the production. So that's what came in that little additional white box. And then in addition to that, as I mentioned already, with the Running Wild pack, there was the Kickstarter exclusive character and her mounted form, as it were. So you get Sister Temperance to add to your posse as you ride into town to cause disruption to the zombie horde. There we go. So let's get her open. Always, please feel free to leave a comment below. Always curious. Am I better to open these on camera, off camera? You know, you just see me fumbling around and trying hard not to obviously slice myself open live on camera. There it is. Okay, so like Sister Temperance's life before the church involves owning a small dockside tavern in Boston, one of the rowdiest and most disruptives in the city, which is saying something. She kept order with burly bouncers, harsh language, and her infamous shotgun displayed prominently above the bar. Unfortunately, one incident involved liberal use of said weapon, and her sentence was either prison or the convent. Turns out the sister took well to the holy life and travels the West, bringing the good word to all who need it. There we go, a bit of background story there. So there. Yeah, again, just love the concept and the character. Here we go. Here she is, Sister Temperance. Obviously, her unique abilities, and of course, wouldn't be riding a horse. Would of course be riding a donkey. What else? So there she is in all of her glory, riding on a donkey into town. Obviously, then she can leave her mount outside the premises. Again, there was I personally, for one, and I think there was a similarly a number on the Kickstarter, a bit dismayed that we didn't have in the lone horse pack a donkey that we could also include unmounted outside of the premises to represent Sister Temperance, as she's dismounted her mount. But there it is. It is what it is. There we go. Okay, so here we have the long dead walkers. So these are teachers and the like. These guys have been dead, as you can see, for a very long time. Just again adding to that gore of the system. So we get 5 of each variants in the miniatures here. So for the deepest depths of the desert, something evil stirs. Long dead walkers are ancient nightmares made of dry skin, the bones that creak and crack with every move. Bullets punch straight through these risen horrors. Might as well shoot bundles of dead sticks. Destroying these things requires an up-close and personal touch. Sorry about struggling with great granddad Buddy. He's a bitey. So, just love all the content. The humour throughout is just fantastic. I love all this. So, here we go. So we get special rules, of course, for the dead walkers. There we go. Very, very simple. Okay, we get, of course, their special cards. These should be shuffled up as part of your zombie stack deck of what's going to be coming at you. Variation, and of course there we can see just great work, just really beautiful. As always, the detail on these. Sorry, let's open them up properly. You get a proper look at the detail on there. There we go. That's a bit better, isn't it? The rib cage, all the bones showing, the sunken features. Fantastic, excellent. So we've got a whole bunch of those to add to the affair. Okay, so as is often the way with the Zombicide Kickstarters, I will have a a guest designer who will come along and he'll introduce some ideas and concepts of some unique sculpts. So in this case it was Paolo Parente. It gives you a little bit about him and his history. Best known for work in WOTC and Magic the Gathering, and the design work there. There we go. So let's dig straight in. So these are 9 exclusive sculpts, and again, as always, these will have their own cards. And yeah, as you see, with some of these are very much pop culture based. So in this instance, obviously we have the wonderful Snoop Dogg, and then there will be various characters perhaps from famous films, etc. So let's dig in again. This tape. Whoop. There we go. So you get a bit of a look at the wonders that are these survivors. Again, as always, just incredible attention to detail on these sculpts. This dog, fantastic, just beautiful. As we're coming to the end, we have some abominations. So these are the dead stock abomination pack, so 4 additional abominations to throw in, and of course their particular rules and cards. So it looks like the Wild West has gotten a whole lot wilder. Driven by instinct, most animals already stay clear from humans and flee straight away from zombies. Unfortunately, some of them fail to escape and are consumed by the zombie hunger. Even worse, a few of the animals have fallen, rise again, altered in ways only madmen could conceive of. Changed half man, half beast, these monsters soon hunt the living, craving slaughter. So these were those that featured. So look, so we have the additional rules. There we go. And of course the wonderful artwork as consistent throughout. The Abominable. Their cards to shuffle in, their impact on the game. So again, each of these abominations, not only a different sculpt, but it has its own unique rules, unique impact in terms of how it impacts the game and your ability to try and overcome them and defeat them as they terrorize the board. Just fantastic beast. I mean, that is a proper lump of plastic. Just superb. Brilliant work. I think that really is quite terrifying if you encountered this, wouldn't it? And the Abominable. Grizzly. Oh, Grizzly. Fantastic. So there was those abominations, and then there were 2 special abominations that were also included as an option, which were the Abominape and the Crocosaur Abomination pack. So we have two great big abominations, and really I can see, I mean, this is not far off the size of that box we've just looked at that had 4 abominations in it. You saw they were quite sizable, so these are going to be even bigger. So let's have a look. So come one, come all, ladies and gentlemen, step right this way. The freak show is in town and the main attractions are to die for. They're wild, they're huge, and they're undead. It's a battle of the ages. One will fall, likely you. So let's dig in. Okay, so we have Destructions for Abominate and the Crocosaur. They're relevant cards. And here we go. Wow, these are great. These are beautiful. Okay. Oh, that's got some heft. Wow. Okay. What have we got? So here is the Crocosaur. Fantastic. Just beautiful. Level of detail throughout. Brilliant. And of course, the Abominate. Wow. Just great work. That level of sculpting. Beautiful. So I did mention I had one last surprise purchase that was included, or that I purchased that was included in the offering. So as well as some additional standard dice, because the reality is, for anyone who's ever played Zombicide or any of those kind of dice chucking games, you never have enough dice. They also included the option of some beautiful metal dice for the steampunk expansion, and these really are quite something. Just the amount of weight to them, these really are beautiful, absolutely beautiful, and they've just come out so well in terms of their design. Just really impressed with those. Whee! And that was it. That was everything that I received in my all-in, and a couple of extras. Zombicide, Undead or Alive, Wild West Steam game. So thanks for watching, family, if you got this far. If you liked it, please give us a like, hit that subscribe button, and see what else we've got to come. Thanks for watching.